What's going on? What we're doing here today is a little tip-up fishing for walleyes. If you know anything about tip-ups or set lines, I mean, there's everything, all kinds of stuff on the market. Fravel, Arctic, you've got the iFish Pros, which are pretty cool. But when it comes to what I like to run, it doesn't get any better than the classic beaver dam tip-up. It's about 10 degrees out today, but when you get out on those days when it's 10 below, just how smooth these things spin in all conditions is paramount when you're fishing tip-ups for walleyes. So as far as setting these babies up, they make all kinds of different main tip-up line. That's the main spool, the majority of your line is made out of. I actually run an 80-pound summer musky line. I just think it's a lot smoother. It doesn't freeze up, or it doesn't collect as much water after you've had a few hit and runs, or you've had it's been fishing all day. I think it just respools nicer, and it spools on, spools off nicer. So one of the little things I like to do, and we'll get into it in a second, is when I'm using for a marker, I like to use a button. You can see that there. That's just a regular old shirt button, rather than some guys prefer putting a little sinker on there. Some guys put a little put the little baby bobbers on there as their markers. I don't know. A friend of mine, when I was a little kid, used buttons, and I just fell in love with it. It works great. From there, I have my main line as that 80-pound musky line for casting in the summer. I have that run down to just a small barrel swivel. I don't know if you can see that real well here. So if I get closer, just a small barrel swivel. On the other end of that barrel swivel, I've got about 4 feet of 10-pound fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon is essential, in my opinion, because a lot of what I fish is super clear water. I mean, a lot of times I spend a Mille Lacs and other northern bodies of water that are super clear, and that can make all the difference versus running. I know some guys will run just regular mono, or even like fire line leaders, because fire line is going to be, like your braided line is going to be a little bit better when it comes to holding up against northerns that come through. But as far as when fish get finicky, sometimes that fluorocarbon makes all the difference. And then I've just got that down to a number 6 treble hook. I got 3 split shots on there today. That might be a little excessive, but we're running big minnows. Alright, now, so the way I set these, I got my treble hook. Take your depth finder. You see buckets of these at every checkout counter on every bait store in the Northwoods this time of year. Setting that baby down. I see a lot of guys that like to set these things by using their sonar. That's definitely one way to do it. But you setting that baby down, she stops, and you can feel, alright, that's the bottom right there, alright? That's my bottom. I account for my spool. So there's my true bottom. Now, we're fishing clear water today, so I'm going to go probably 2 feet off the bottom, 2.5 feet, because in this clear water, as those fish swim, they're feeding up, so you can set a little higher, get that bait up in the air. I think it gives it a little bit better chance of being seen. So pull that. I'll just pull back up to my button here. Slide my button. Now my button, it slides fairly easy, but it also stays put unless you're trying to slide it. So bring my line back up here. Flip that back where I'm not going to lose it. I want to make sure that I get my hook through my eye here. It would be a vital mistake if I didn't do that. So bucket here. Like I said, we're fishing big minnows today, or bigger minnows, fishing suckers. It's that early time of year, you know, so fish are still keyed in on big bait. As the year goes on, I'll downsize bait and even downsize my hooks just to give myself a better chance when those fish get finicky. One of the things I do, I like to pinch a little bit of the minnow's tail off just to slow them down a little bit. You know, a lot of these minnows, if they're still real lively, they'll try to swim up away and stay alive, get away from the predators, so I slow them down a little bit. Setting that minnow down. Alright, so now our minnow's down. Try to keep as much ice off of your spool as you can. Just wind that back up. Now the purpose of our button, we got our bottom marked. So we take that button and set it, take that button so it's just there on our spool. And now when this goes up, we don't have to spend any time refinding our bottom or our zero, and we just set our flag. Now, you can set them here. One of the things you can do on a real windy day, you take your tee and you loop it over the top there, and that's called wind sets, or how I set it when it's windy. So, but today we're not really fighting the wind, so I'm just going to set it soft there. And the things you want to make sure of is that your tee is perpendicular so that it sits level. You know, obviously if you're not familiar with how these work, fish comes along, bites it, it spins, and then it just free spools and you run up and grab it. So anyway, so let's get this baby in the water. Set that baby in. If you can get it the more level the better, in my opinion. Then it just spools off easier, and there you go. And all we do is wait. Wait for that big one to come by. Alright, so we just got our tip set. We have this one gone up. So we walked up to it and it's not moving. Now, if we had walked up to it and this thing was spinning away, we could just pick this tip up. Well, that line's running out, grab a hold of it and set into that fish. But when they're not moving like this, you know, it's one of two things have happened. The fish has either dropped that minnow and he's gone, or he's just down there sitting with it. And so that I don't want to induce any pressure if he's just sitting there with it in his mouth. What I like to do is figure out which way my line's going out. And in this case, I can see the line is going out that way. Another reason I like that white summer line, I just like to turn a little line out just in case there's any pressure on that fish. Now I've turned that line out, so now I can pick that tip up without that fish feeling me. Spin a little line out here so I'm not putting any pressure on him. And now I can start picking up the slack to see if he's there. You know, obviously if he were to run now, I can set the hook, or, you know, if he's not there, he's not there. Another thing you got to consider when you're doing this tip-up fishing that's drastically different than if you're fishing with, you know, a pole, is when you set the hook with a fishing pole, that bend in the pole has that give, so you can really lay into those fish, especially summer fishing. You know, obviously with a 32 to 38 inch ice rod, it's a little different, but when you're doing tip-up fishing, you got to remember there's no give, so any pull is directly related to that fish. So you see a lot of these guys that'll come out and you'll have a 4 or 5 foot yank on that, and that's, you know, you lose a lot of fish doing that because all you really want to do is just have a nice little snap. So, all right, I can already tell that this fish has dropped it. If he hadn't, and as soon as I would feel weight, I would just give that little snap, and that's all there is as far as a hook set. You don't need any more than that, because you don't really want to be just yanking the heck out of it and pulling that hook out of the fish's mouth or breaking that fluorocarbon leader. So anyways, just things to consider. I can tell that fish has dropped it because I can feel the weight of my minnow. I can tell that there's no fish there, so I'm just going to start winding this back up right away. One of the things this does for me is it allows so my line doesn't freeze up while I'm spooling it or laying it all out on the ice and it freezes. So just going to spool this back up. there's my button. Pull that button right up to my guide. I'm just gonna double check to make sure my minnow's still alive, because live bait is good in most situations. He's good, looks good, so I'm just gonna send him back down there and hope he continues to look yummy. You can tell I have little kids at home. All right, just wait for it to go back up again. All right, there we go. Hopefully he comes back. All right, so we got a fish here that's running with this, so picked it up. I'm just kind of feeding him line, try to let him get away. Now set this off to the side as I catch up to him. Here's the weight. Ooh, just a nice little hook set, and I got him. Nice little, if you saw that, it wasn't a good jerk, it was just a nice little hook set. We got a fish on here. Feels like it could be a pretty good one. Got a pile of line. Oh yeah. There we go. All right, and there you have it. Tip up walleyes. Not bad. That fish hooked perfect there. Right there, nice easy out. There you go. There you have it. Doing all those little things with those tip ups, you know, not just throwing them out there and hoping and praying. Do a lot of little things to just increase your success rate. Just recipe for success. So, all right, about a 18, 19 inch walleye. We'll get that baby back, get ourselves another one. All right, we got this tip up set up there earlier. As you can see, this tee is just real slow spinning. Obviously that means that there's a fish there taking line. So when you're picking these up, when there's a fish there, so now he stops. So what I like to do is, I can see my line going out this way. I like to turn a little line out just to take that pressure off. So when I pick that tip up out of the water, that fish isn't feeling that if he stops. So now I can pick that up. Ooh, took out a pile of line. Now, when I start to feel that pressure or that pull, just a little hook set like that. Don't want to, like I said earlier, you don't want that big jerking hook set. Not a real big one here, but yeah, right species anyhow. There we go. Tip up fishing for walleyes. About a 16 incher there. Nice little walleye. Just send him back right away. Piece of cake. Easy, fun, effective way to fish. So if you have any questions or things I left out, because I'm sure I missed quite a bit, shoot me a comment and I'll try to get back to you.